Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. For over 10 years, Dan has been helping AM 1160 listeners. With so many companies to choose from and hundreds of loan options, the mortgage process can be confusing and costly. Be sure to listen each day for Dan and learn the difference between FHA, VA, and conventional loans. You'll also learn how to negotiate lower interest rates and fees, as well as steps to buying your first home and whether refinancing makes sense. Stay tuned to find out why Chicago's top realtors are choosing Dan Frio.
Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio, and I, of course, am Dan Frio. Today I have a special guest, Ricky Carruth. He's a realtor trainer, and I found him on YouTube. And I have probably about 400 YouTube videos out there. But I like to see other videos and see what's going on in the market and what people are doing in basically the real estate field. And I came across his videos, and then I watched about 50 of them. And the cool thing is we have, the traits that I saw in him it was kind of watching my own videos. He works hard. He has great content. He markets. That's a big piece of his puzzle. One of the biggest things that kind of intrigued me was one specific word he uses, and it's adapt. I see so many realtors that keep doing the same thing over and over and over. I talked to one, and they're like, what is YouTube? I'm like, are you serious? They're like, well, my company does that. My company has that, and things like that. So today's show, I want to this is out to realtors and anybody in sales, basically. This can help you. So, hey, Ricky, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What do you do? How do you do it? And then also, how do they get in touch with you? That's one of the biggest things after you let us know what you do.
For sure. Well, you introduced me as a real estate trainer, which I am, but I kind of do that on the side. I'm actually a full-time real estate agent. I've been doing that for 17 years. Got in the business when I was 20. Made $1 million before I'm 23, grew up roofing houses, lost it all in the crash, went back to roofing houses, worked on an oil rig, read 100 books, tried to figure out what I did wrong. And that's when it took me a while to realize that during that crash, when I was working on an oil rig, that what I did wrong was I was too focused on money, deals, transactions, closings, and had to flip that to people and how I could help people, in terms of buying and selling real estate. And I realized that's how you build business in today's world. So I got back in real estate when I got laid off from the oil rig in 2008. I started building my business on people, not deals. And it took me 6 years from that point, 15 hours a day, to 2014 to hit 100 deals a year as a single agent. I've sold over 100 properties a year ever since. I've been the number one RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama 3 times, going for number 4. And wrote 2 books. I'm coaching over 20,000 agents in my free real estate coaching program. I'm the first completely free coach. I travel the world and speak, and just kind of I'm literally retired. I work 15 hours a day, but It's literally what I want to do, kind of deal. So
your story
that's about it in a nutshell.
That's all. Your story is very similar to mine. I've done this since I got in the business at 22. And I was a multimillionaire by, within 10 years or so. And then 2006, 7, 8 hit. And I was literally the poorhouse to the penthouse, back to the poorhouse. And I had to reinvent myself and everything. And basically, like what you were saying is, when you hit bottom, you're like, what did I do wrong? I worked hard. I did this. I did that. That's why you're back on top again. And that's why I look at it, I use basically the same principles. At that time, we hit a wall that you could be the most phenomenal person in the world at what you do, especially in real estate. There's just nothing there. There's no lending on our side. The lending dried up, and things like that. So that's what kind of drew me to your videos, was that whole story. And then that's why I created a YouTube channel too. I don't have any training paid accounts or anything of that. I even have a YouTube, a lot of YouTube videos in regards to teaching people about credit. And I get nothing out of it. But it's like I get calls every day, people just saying thanks. So what's your key to success on, one of your videos says you work hard in persistence in this and that. What's the most generic piece of advice you could give somebody, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Well, if there's somebody out there that's not successful or not as successful as they want to be, I can literally have a 5-minute conversation with them and figure out which of the 4 principles of success they're lacking in. The first is you got to believe 100%. Most people kind of believe, but they don't really believe. They don't, they're 99.9, and that 0.01% that they don't believe, that's what takes them down. Because people, when you're talking to clients, they can hear that 0.01%.
Yep.
And they know that you don't believe. They know you're not confident. They know that, and you don't know why you're failing, but it all starts right there. Do you believe in yourself? 100%. I like to think about it like I don't really give myself a plan B. I'm kind of like, I don't want to go to college so that if this other thing I really want to do doesn't work out, I have something to fall back on.
Got it.
I dropped out of college and went into real estate and went all in. There wasn't a plan B. When you have a plan B, it's like you're setting yourself up for a failure in plan A. It's like you're already kind of setting the field for failure.
Right.
So you got to believe, you got to work hard, you have to adapt, and then once you put those 3 things together, you got to be patient. And so most people believe, a lot of people do believe, but out of the people that believe, very few also actually work hard.
Right.
Working hard is working hard and doing the things that you need to do behind the scenes when nobody's watching, consistently, and holding yourself accountable. People believe, very few also work hard. Out of the people that believe and work hard, even fewer also adapt. Adapting is recognizing what works and what doesn't work, tweaking, getting rid of things that don't work, testing things out. I'm always trying new things, and I'm always failing with new things. But every once in a while, I'll hit something, and then when I hit it, I say, okay, that's what I was looking for the last 8 months. I finally found that thing I was looking for. Now I'm really going to go all in with this while I test more things out. So it's all about failing, learning, molding yourself into who you want to be, And then, a lot of people believe, some people also work hard, even fewer adapt. But then you really have a special person when you have all that put together, and then you understand nothing. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And that what you do on a daily basis, it's like eating a hamburger. You're not going to, all of a sudden gain 15 pounds, tonight if you eat a hamburger for lunch.
Yeah.
But if you eat a hamburger every day for 3 years, you will gain 15, 20, 25 pounds.
Got it.
It's the same thing with business. If you do 2 hours of calls or door knocking or letters or emails or social media or whatever you do to drive business, your business isn't going to change much today from those 2 hours of calls and prospecting. But if you do that 2 hours for 3 years, you could be the number one agent in your area.
Yep.
It's the same philosophies. And so you have to have faith that what you're doing on a daily basis, even though you don't see the big time rewards, will turn into big time rewards over time. And most people just want it right now.
Yep. Instant gratification.
So I can talk to somebody for 5 minutes, about their business, about their philosophies, about what they think. I can ask them a couple questions, and if they're not successful or not as successful as they want to be, and they're just, banging their head against the wall and trying to figure out what they're doing wrong or why can't I succeed, I can have a 5-minute conversation with you and tell you, you're either not adapting, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe you're doing everything right, but you're just not patient. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. It's coming. Or maybe you don't believe. Maybe you got that 0.01% of yourself that you just don't really believe. You believe mostly, but not all the way. or maybe you're not putting in the work. Maybe you believe and you doubt pretty good and you're patient, but you're not putting in the work that really needs to be put in and the amount of sheer effort, So, I mean, that's my general thesis for success.
And the work hard piece is, I see this a lot. People will sit at their desk and they're doing stuff, but it's not productive stuff. Just because you punch in at 8 and punch out at 5, and that's not the jobs we have, in the real estate business, it doesn't mean you actually were productive. So that, I see a lot of people, even in my office, that I walk around and I'm like, what are you doing? And they'll kind of tell me what, I'm like, there's really no need for that, or you know what I'm going at. I mean, or you're making those cold calls and you kind of believe you're reading off the script. You sound terrible. Instead of doing that, why don't you train with somebody to get more comfortable on the phone? That'll take time, but I was never a proponent of reading a script. So what I want to do is in the next, I want you to give all your information, because I want the realtors out there who are, just take if you would, use Ricky for that 5-minute phone call. Just talk with him for 5 minutes and see if he's the real deal, if he can tell you and he can help you. That's why I had him on here. It's for realtors. My show is the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. I talk about mortgages and credit and things like that. But I saw his videos and I'm like, and I call on a lot of realtors. And I'm like, there's so many out there that are just missing the boat. You're in a primo location. You have a primo situation, but you're just doing nothing. And I talk with them and it's like, well, I know you're not working hard. You're not working smart. You're not adapting, but you want to get to the next level. I mean, it's insanity. So Ricky, tell them, what's the best way to get a hold of you and follow you on YouTube's, and how do they get to your website for training to set up, or at least get that 5-minute phone call with you?
I'm on YouTube, Ricky Caruth. Just search Ricky Caruth. Same thing on Instagram. If you want to do the free training, that's at 0todiamond.com. And if you subscribe to YouTube and you follow me on Instagram, then just email me, Ricky at 0todiamond.com. I'll send you my 2019 real estate marketing plan, as well as a free ebook, How I Make $1 Million a Year in Real Estate Using Email. Because that's how I built my business, was phone calls and emails, do a weekly email. But if you guys will subscribe there, follow me on Instagram, and send me an email, I'll send you some information and be glad to have a phone call with you.
Cool. So, again, when we come back, Ricky, here's what I want to talk to you about when we get back. Basically, how to adapt. What do you we'll dig down on that, and then maybe just give them a hint of your marketing strategies on how you suggest, let's talk to the newbies or the middle of the road people, and help them get to the Diamond Club. Like that's ultimately that's your goal for them. So again, this is the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. If you like what we hear, I hope you do. Please don't forget, give us a call at 844-775-LOAN, or probably one of the best ways to reach me is just email me at dfrio, which is FRIO, at parksidelending.com. Back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio, and I, of course, am Dan Frio. If you'd like the show, if you want to reach out to us and get, ask some questions, give me a call at 844-775-LOAN, which is 5626. All right, Ricky, I got a question for you. We discussed this a little bit off air, but I want to pick your brain for a second. I was at, I used to call on a lot of realtors. I don't now. There's a lot of my loan officers do that. But we see a reluctancy when we go out to the realtors. Here's one that this happened to me personally. I was at a local town where I live. They have a outside band every once in a while that my wife and I will go to. And there was probably about 30, 40 people at this little acoustic band setup in the city. Sitting there was a booth with two realtors there. I won't say who they're with. And they're kind of trying to talk with people and hand out their business cards. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just chat with them and see, what they're about and things like that. So I walked up to him and I started talking to him and I said, would you guys be interested in maybe being on my radio show just to advertise? Cause they're local to my area, where I live. And then also, if you have, I can help you post, some of your content on the web. I have a YouTube channel. I'd be more than happy to help you. Take all the loans that you have or all the homes you have for sale and or help you with your marketing. No cost. I'll cover the cost. Nothing, no strings attached. I'm hoping you give me deals, some deals. I don't expect to get all your loans, but I scratch your back, you scratch mine. The comeback was when I said about radio, I'm not sure. And then I said about, I can post your homes on their own URL or create a website for each one of your listings. My company does that. Well, I can help you with some of your social media like YouTube and things like that. Well, I think we have that already. Well, how about your CRM? And if you're in the business, you know what I'm talking about. Well, we have that set up too. So in the back of my mind, and I'm not trying to be smart about this, you're at a local event with there's 30 people. You have a booth. I was there for just a getaway. My wife and I went out to dinner, got ice cream, and just popped by and listened to music. I'm not sitting there trying to peddle my business. And again, no disrespect, but they're there at this event with 30 people. They can't be that busy. Why would they not want help? I guess that's my question. Sorry for the long, drawn-out question. But, what do you say in that situation?
Well, I say that they feel like, and this goes back to the 0.01% of not believing. There's a 0.01% in them that thinks there's an ulterior motive because you're a mortgage broker.
Right.
Right. So yeah. They feel like that if they say, okay, post my links and do my YouTube and all that, then they're going to feel like, oh, now I owe this guy something. And now I have to use him, or it turns into an awkward situation.
Okay,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
See, it's like in real estate now. There's a company called EXP, right? You heard of those guys?
Yeah.
So and I love EXP. I think it's a great company. They're doing big things. And however, and I'm not like this, but I'm just saying that there's agents out there that when you mention your EXP, it changes the dynamic of the entire conversation, because now since EXP is big on recruiting agents, as soon as an agent says they're with EXP, I'm not saying all agents, but there's a large group of agents that just kind of cringe when they hear that, because they know that, the next thing's going to be, they want you to watch a little video, and they're trying to recruit you.
Got it. I get it. No, I get it.
And it's the same thing. If there's even a 0.01% chance of some kind of weird ulterior motive, then it creates. It's not that they don't want the links posted. It's that they don't want a lender that they've never heard of posting the links for them. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Got it.
And that's why too that I'm a free coach, because if I were to charge for my course, I have a full course that most people charge $500 for.
Yeah.
If I were to charge for it, now there's ulterior motive, and I wouldn't have 20,000 agents in my program, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Got it. I get it.
You wouldn't even know who I was right now if I charged for my coaching, because I would have like 300 followers instead of 20,000, and you know what I mean?
Yep, I get it.
It's just a whole different dynamic. So you have to understand the dynamics behind sales and kind of like where everything goes, and then we have to pick our pressure points. You know what I mean? Our pressure points for how we actually can create that situation. I think the problem is this. I think that, and this is just general, not talking about you or this specific situation.
Sure.
I'm talking to new agents. I'm talking to agents that are, like you say, in that middle area of their business, trying to take it to the next level. I'm not saying that you did this at all, but what I am saying is that when we're talking to prospects out there in the world, the problem is that we're trying to convert too soon. We're trying to convert. And what I've learned over, my long career and falling on my face hundreds and thousands of times is that we have to connect first. You got to connect with them before we try to go for the conversion. And connecting is just something that takes time. I mean, it's not the same for every single prospect. Sometimes you talk to a prospect and you connect with that prospect really well, the very first conversation within a few minutes.
Yeah.
Some prospects take months of you contacting several times and sending all kinds of information to before you actually start to connect.
Gotcha.
It's different for everybody, but you have to get really good at understanding when people have their block up or their guards up, mm-hmm. and when they don't have their guards up, and you feel the situation that I call FE, which is friend or family effect. We're giving them the effect that we are extended part of their friend or family, by the way we're talking, our tone, our intentions. Why are we there? Why are we talking to them? What's going on? Are we really genuinely there for them, or are we there just to create business?
Gotcha. Got it.
And so the business people are a dime a dozen, but the people who connect and really care, and not saying that the problem is this, to go even deeper, probably 99% of agents and salespeople, mortgage brokers genuinely care about their clients and other agents or whoever they're trying to get business from. The problem and the disconnect is they haven't figured out how to communicate that to their prospects. So even though they care on the inside, on the outside, it looks like they're just going after business, and that's what turns prospects away. And the agent's sitting here thinking, what did I do wrong? They don't understand. They're a hard worker. They care about people. They're trying to do everything right. They're doing everything their coach told them to do. However, they're not getting any deals, and prospects are going the other way and telling them no and saying no thanks and all this stuff. And so I think there's a deeper level of it, and I think that's why those agents weren't interested, is because we're trying to convert before we connect. And even though you don't have ulterior motive,
gotcha.
You generally want to help these people. You want to get their listings out there.
Yeah.
I can hear that in your voice. Like, you really just want to help, and you don't understand why they went the other way. But the thing is there's this 0.01% in their head that the only reason you're doing it is because you want something in return. Even though that's not true, you got to understand it from their point of view.
Got it. No, I got it. Well, let's go down this avenue, and this is probably a huge piece of your book. The marketing piece. Mm-hmm. If you could just briefly go over the most strategic marketing plan you have. And I reference it like you were saying. I always reference, I plant a lot of seeds. I throw seeds everywhere. Some will grow, some aren't going to grow. Some will grow kind of not very good. Some will be awesome. But I plant seeds all over the place. So, if you could go over maybe one or two basic, I won't say basic, some of the best techniques or marketing plans that you have, because without the marketing, you have no sales. So go down that avenue a little bit, if you would.
Well, I think with marketing and building brand, I think it has to start with like a really good first impression that you're there to help, as opposed to just sell, right?
Right.
And once you make that first impression, okay, now they're not completely behind it yet. They still have their guard up a little, but you seem like a nice person. You seem like you care. You seem like you work hard, but they only just met you. So we have to give that first impression and at least get them headed in the right direction of getting to know who we are. But then on the back end, now that we have them kind of in our little web through email, social media, phone, whatever the case may be, now we have to be very consistent with sending them original content on a very consistent basis. So, I don't care what platform you're on. I've used email, a weekly email every Wednesday since 2007. But it can be anything. It can be text message. It could be, letters, postcards, social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But the trick of it is is to be consistent, because the consistency shows them how dependable you are. It shows them how hardworking you are. It shows them how professional you are. And over time, the consistent content, it does the heavy lifting for you to build that relationship deeper without you having to actually do a lot of heavy lifting yourself. It does the heavy lifting for you.
Got it.
For example, if you have a seller that is not interested in selling anytime soon, but you had a great conversation, okay, that's how you build business. You're going to run into people that want to do deals now, okay, but what I'm more interested in is how do you handle those people that don't want to do a deal now but had a great conversation with you? Because that's going to be the majority of people you talk to.
Got it.
They're not ready yet.
How about let's rewind it back a little bit. What would be your approach for, say, a new realtor? How do you, or what's your best techniques to get prospects? Do you Facebook ads? Do you Craigslist?
No, okay. Absolutely not.
Got it, okay.
I think Facebook ads, I think Zillow and all that, as far as the ads go to get leads, to me, is not the most efficient thing to do. It's very costly, and it's very low-quality leads, to be honest with you.
All right.
Now, how do we use social media? We're going to use social media to build our brand on the ad side, but on the organic side, we're going to use that to DM people. We're going to use it to get into these conversations. We're going to reply to every comment. We're going to post consistent content.
Thank you so much. Give them your information so they can reach out and they can find you for sure. And his last name is Carruth.
Carruth. The best way to get me, if you really want to communicate with me, is Instagram. I answer all my DMs. So that's direct messages on Instagram at Ricky Carruth. But definitely, I've got close to 600 videos on YouTube now. Just search Ricky Carruth there. And then the website, 02diamond.com. Over 20,000 agents are in the program, and just reach out to me and let me know how I can help you.
And he does answer. I want to thank you again. God bless you, brother. Hope you have full success in the future to come. And again, this is Dan Frio, the Mortgage Update. If you'd like to reach me, call 844-775-LOAN, or shoot me an email at dfrio, which is FRIO, at parksidelending.com. God bless. Good night.
You've been listening to The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. For over 10 years, Dan has been helping AM 1160 listeners. With so many companies to choose from and hundreds of loan options, the mortgage process can be confusing and costly. Be sure to listen each day for Dan and learn the difference between FHA, VA, and conventional loans. You'll also learn how to negotiate lower interest rates and fees, as well as steps to buying your first home and whether refinancing makes sense.